What would you do if you made $248,000 in just over 10 trading days? That's the exact question I'll be asking our funded trader Kyle during this interview. I hope you enjoy it. Kyle, thank you very much for taking the time to come and speak to me today. $248,000 in, I think, only 10 trading days. Fantastic work. How does that feel?
Man, it feels amazing. I'm super pumped, and yeah, I'm excited, very excited. Thanks.
Yeah, that's no problem whatsoever. The team has been sort of, we watch sort of our biggest traders, if you like. We have sort of monitor them, and we were all seeing gold go down, and we were seeing your sort of discipline that we're going to talk about in a bit more detail in MT form. We were excited to see, just how well you were putting your foot down on gold in large position sizing that we're going to see shortly. So what are you actually going to do with the money then? Because this is quite life-changing money.
Yeah, that's actually the question I've been asking myself. I do want to invest in a music production setup where I hire out equipment for festivals, etc. That's one of the things. I want to travel more, obviously save some, invest some. So right now is a bit tricky, but I think I got a good idea.
So you're potentially thinking you're going to launch a sort of business with it and then travel and then, I guess, when you
Yes,
earn
that's
that,
correct.
yeah, I guess when you earn that sort of money in such a short period of time, it can be a bit overwhelming. So you sound like you've got a sensible head on your shoulders, a bit of a plan. You're not just going to go out and buy, not just going to go out and buy the proverbial
No,
sort
no,
of
no, no,
Ferrari
no,
and Lamborghini
no.
tomorrow.
No, I've got a few things I want to, get done.
Perfect. That sounds absolutely fantastic. So I think everyone's going to be dying to hear about, how you've made this sort of small fortune in such a short period of time. So tell us a little bit about your trading background, what got you into trading, and then sort of transitioning to what sort of markets you like to trade and what attracts you about them.
Yeah, of course, I started off just doing, Forex, overhearing friends, learning. And and then I went more into fundamental trading. I preferred it. I watch a lot of news, I read a lot, and basically just follow what's happening globally. So I find it more accurate at times, and I can predict it more. It also fluctuates. I understand it better, really. That's about it.
So how long have you been trading then?
1 year.
Just 1 year. Wow, that's pretty impressive, and I think it's quite interesting because a lot of people will sort of ask me the question, how long can it take to become consistently profitable? And for some people, it takes years. But the fact you're able to do this, learn all these skills and abilities in just a year is pretty impressive stuff. I mean, have you had some ups and downs as well, or have you always sort of naturally taken to trading?
Yeah, of course, there's been ups and downs. I think, for me, that's why I say my focus is gold because I understand it better. And it's just that I think if you focus on one thing and, you can be successful in it, like don't try to do too many things.
Yeah, I think that again, that's always another sort of a great bit of advice because a lot of traders do ask me, how many markets should I be trading? And for some traders, they like to trade one, some they like to trade lots of markets. And I think, it can become overwhelming when you're looking at like 5, 10 different markets and there's potential entries or trades that can be had on every single market, and that can really test a trader. But I think becoming the master of one or two markets is generally the best starting point for people, and it sounds like that's the sort of logic that you found as well. What's attracted you to gold?
Yeah, I just noticed that gold was extremely overvalued with the fears of recession in the US, the debt ceiling crisis. Everything was priced in gold, and the value of the US was already in recession. I didn't think that it was right. Gold could be much priced as a recession and is not guaranteed event. And with the CPI inflation reports and the NFP unemployment report ahead, I estimated good numbers that would mean a strong economy. So the day of the release, after the initial announcement happened, I opened a strong short position that I held for days and days, using strong trading psychology.
Yeah, you certainly did. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more because that's probably the thing that's impressed me most. You've mentioned a lot of fundamental things there rather than technical. Would you consider yourself more of a fundamental trader?
Yeah, 100% fundamental.
Do you use any sort of technical analysis, support and resistance, or anything like that, or is it just a case of, fundamentally, I think this is overbought or oversold, and there's value here, or it's overpriced, and I can trade this market?
I only use fundamental.
That's really interesting, because still in the grand scheme of things, you are a relatively short-term trader. So to use fundamentals sort of purely for short-term trades, that's a less common combination, but obviously it's something that works for you. So yeah, pretty good. Right, so this is your MT4 history that I've pulled up. Like I said, I've been watching this quite intently. It's been fantastically entertaining for me and some of the other members of the team as we've seen gold. So, we're on an hourly time frame here, and we can see, I guess up here that I'm circling is where you've started to really load in these short positions where you've judged it to be sort of overbought, if you like, and you felt there's a good shorting opportunity. If I come back out just to a daily time frame, and we just scroll to the end, you can see how you've, zoom in a little bit more for the audience, you can see how you've essentially picked, we have this big spike here on gold on the daily time frame, and then it's come down, made that low, you've waited for it to pull back, I guess, at this sort of 2045 level and 2030, 2045 level, you've judged that there's been an opportunity to short. Is that pretty much the case?
100%, yeah. That is correct.
So if we come down onto the hourly time frame again, we can have a look at the specific entries done. I mean, I know you've got all your stops out the way of the highs. Is this where you've considered invalidation? You've just shorted here, and then if the market's gone here, you said, well, I'll get out of these trades.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so that's where the stops are indicated. Yeah, we did see that as well. And I think what's impressive for me is the fact that, there's not a huge amount, because you're a fundamental trader, of technical aspects to analyze. One thing we did look at, though, is you had one of your profit targets. This was last week before Friday when you made your first withdrawal. I said you had your take profit at 0.0. I said sod's law, it'll bounce just above 0.0, and it did. But then you still had the nerve to continue holding. It
was a tricky one.
It was. I didn't want to get in touch with you because it's not my place to interfere. But I saw that 0.0, and I said to my friend, I said, look, the markets will often bounce just for 0.0 because you had to take profits there, and we were watching it, and it just pulled back, and I was like, I hope he's not going to give back a lot of his profits and lose his money, because I have seen traders who've given back six-figure amounts, and it does upset me. But no, I think the most impressive thing for me is I don't think people understand here the position sizing you were at. I think you were over 40 lots, so every sort of dollar movement on gold, you were plus or minus $4,000. I mean, psychologically, how did you have the will in order to hold those positions? Because the P&L was, going from minus 30,000 to plus 40,000 to back to break even. How did you have the stomach for that?
Yeah, I just wanted to stay consistent. Like I said, I was watching the news all the time. I was seeing what's going on in the world. Just following my instincts, I just went with it. I took the chance. Yeah,
you did. You certainly did that. And just to give people a sort of look into your history here, you've what's so good to see is there's quite a lot of small or relatively small losses. Yes, you took a 4,500 loss there, but relative to your account size, it's quite small. And then you had some absolute monsters down here. I think just peer over the laptop. The biggest trades, $104,000, $55,000. They're all mightily impressive. So at any point, did you feel any sort of fear or greed? Were you constantly sort of monitoring the charts? Like I say, I'm really interested in how you've had the nerve here.
Monitoring it nonstop. There was certain times when I was getting nervous, but I just stuck to it. Like I said, I followed my instinct, and it said carry on, and then here we are. So it worked out.
Well, honestly, it's some of the most disciplined trading. I've been around the trading game for a long time and interacted with lots and lots of traders. I don't think there's many traders who would have had the discipline and the nerve to potentially see six figures come and go. So, an absolute fantastic demonstration of trading discipline, and one that, one of the best examples that I think I've ever seen. So thoroughly deserved small fortune that, I hope is going to make a big sort of difference to your life. And just before we finish then, I'm interested to know, and no doubt everyone who's watching is going to be interested to know, what sort of tips or help would you give people watching so they could become a trader like you?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
What sort of tips and help would you suggest to people who want to become a trader like you?
Look for a good mentor.
A good mentor. The obvious question is going to be everyone's going to be asking is who's your mentor? Is someone you wanted to tell or not?
It's a good friend of mine. Yeah,
Okay.
I ask him for advice every now and again.
Okay.
And then just my general expertise, let's say.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, no problem. Yeah, so find a good mentor and develop your own expertise as well. I get the feeling you keep things very, very simple. Is my impression. I think you've got, from my impression of speaking to you over this interview, is you've got a very sort of clear sort of route as to how you want to trade, how you want to make money. There's no nonsense. There's no sort of fat around the edges, and you just don't mess around and get on with it, which I think is obviously.
And I think also, you must just stick to what you're good at. Of course, people lose money and they try different avenues, but for me, I know I'm good at this, so I stick to this.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for your time. Congratulations on your win once more, and we'll get that profit sent out to you as soon as possible.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for watching this interview, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you think you can be the next Kyle, then come and join us at fundedtradingplus.com.